When I came into this world, Don Antonio was 72. I was the second of what would eventually be 30 grandchildren. I can still recollect how big he seems as I was growing up. He was 6 feet tall and well-built from years of work. Despite the belt he carried to impose discipline among his rowdy 30 grandchildren, he was always kind and never hit us at all. He had amazing hands with beefy fingers that were clumsy when grabbing a spoon to eat. His broad palms alone could cover my back. The finger shows calluses that had smoothed with time. The skin on the back of his hands was dark from years of working in the sun, and the network of veins mapped the journey of his life. Those hands reassure me that my world was safe. They also make me wonder about the claims that Grandpa was immortal. Even if death came looking for him, surely he will be able to catch it like a fly in his enormous hands. Don Antonio emphasized to his grandkids that harmony in the house was essential for a healthy life. This was his key to maintaining his marriage because Grandma had a strong character. I do not recall him arguing with Grandma, even when he was right. One of his passions was cockfighting. He became famous about the cockfighting enthusiasm for his feisty roosters. He loved and was so proud of his rooster that in order to prepare them for the fight, he allowed them to take over the house. One day, Grandma gave him an ultimatum: the roosters or your family. Don Antonio decided to sell some and give the rest away. When his friends in Menegande began to die, Don Antonio decided it was time to outrun death by moving to the city of gentlemen, Merida, where most of his children lived. When he arrived at the apartment of Marlene, his oldest daughter, he declared, "I am moving here because death is winning in Menegande." He was 93. His body was upright, but with the years, Don Antonio stood like an old tree. He was an enthusiastic walker, and after moving to the city of gentlemen, he began his routine. His youngest daughter, Vilma, used to call him El Trabajador, the worker, because his daily activities were performed on the clock as if he were punching a card. He will take long daily walks around the city, sidestepping crazy cars on busy streets and programming stops to talk to the shoe repairman, the drivers at the bus station, and the butcher, while visiting two of his children, Carlos and Vilma, for breakfast and lunch. Sometimes he will help his neighbors with car problems and ladies with their grocery bags, even though they try to refuse him from out of respect for his age. He became notorious among the kids from the local elementary school. Students interviewed him to complete projects about his expertise working for the oil company and his political views during the dictatorships of Juan Vicente Gomez and Marco Pérez Jiménez in the 20s and 30s. They were fascinated that he was a political dissident during the dictatorships because of his affiliation with the union workers. Don Antonio's second daughter, Miriam, my mother, passed away at 59, when Don Antonio was 104. Don Antonio had been very close to his daughters, and he remained quiet and reflective throughout her illness. As is customary in the country, the closest friends helped carry the coffin, and Don Antonio was among them. As the grave diggers were bringing down the coffin into the hole, Don Antonio was standing very close, observing. He said nothing, but a few tears came down his cheek. I always wondered what was going on through his mind. Was this the price of immortality? What good was living past 100 only to lose your daughter before she reached 16? Fame comes easily in small towns. Winning the crown in a beauty pageant or driving an expensive car. For Don Antonio, fame came through immortality. The local residents respected Don Antonio because he had lived through political and economic upheavals with kindness, integrity, and strength. Many adults and children wanted to touch him for love. In honor of his 108th birthday, the community, with the support of the City Hall, organized a ceremony to award him the title of Meritorious Citizen, and to officially name the avenue bordering his apartment complex after him. He was very proud. He made it this far with only one cataract surgery in his medical record and not even a cane for support. Living a long life is a blessing and a cause for celebration in many cultures, even more so in Venezuela than in the United States. To honor those who make it to 100 is to acknowledge their wisdom and prosperity and to emphasize their endurance through the changes of society. Don Antonio was enjoying his time of fame. Everyone wanted to know how he made it thus far in such great health. When the reporter from the local paper interviewed him on the occasion of his 108th birthday, he said, "The secret of life is living." Well, actually, he was more specific. Stay engaged with people. Walk whenever you can. Don't indulge in anger. Enjoy your favorite drink. Think positive. And don't contradict your wife.